The Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, or RSS, is approaching its 100th anniversary. It is arguably one of the largest volunteer organizations on Earth. If we look just at the state of Karnataka, the physical scale is immense. Reports indicate a confluence of close to 20 lakh participants, with over 500 uniformed route marches taking place across the state. This map visualizes the daily operational metrics within Karnataka alone. Every single day, they run 4,127 shakas, or daily branch gatherings, alongside 1,389 weekly milans, which are regular networking meetups. Yet, if you search standard legal registries for this vast infrastructure, you will find a blank page. The RSS is not formally registered as a society, a trust, an NGO, or a political party. You have an entity with immense physical presence and tight logistical coordination that operates entirely outside the standard administrative categories of modern Indian law. That specific discrepancy is what prompted Karnataka's Home Minister, Mallikarjun Kharges, to officially challenge the organization. Kharges recently sent a 2-page letter to the RSS leadership. In it, he asks a very direct question. Under which specific legal provision are you functioning if you are not a registered organization? His argument is straightforward. Any entity that can mobilize tens of thousands of people daily, conduct large-scale social outreach, and organize a requirement of the modern state, arguing that no entity, regardless of age or influence, can remain above standard legal oversight. The state government is attempting to enforce modern constitutional compliance on a group that predates the Indian Republic itself. To force the issue, Kharges outlined 7 questions designed to map out the organization's hidden architecture. This flowchart represents his core financial inquiries. He wants to know exactly who the authorized office bearers are, what the internal donation and funding structures look like, and whether the organization pays applicable taxes. Kharges points out that RSS leadership has previously stated they maintain an internal economic unit that gets audited. His position is that if such a unit exists, those audit documents must be provided to the government upon request. The state is drawing a hard line. If you engage in massive, coordinated social action, you owe the public financial transparency. The RSS chief, Mohan Bhagwat, quickly dismissed these demands as political theater. Bhagwat's primary structural defense rests on the source of their money. Because the RSS does not rely on or ask for government funding, he argues they are under no obligation to formally register with the state. He views the RSS as a socio-cultural movement. Bhagwat pointed out that Hindu Dharma itself is not a registered entity, arguing that vast cultural networks do not fit into rigid administrative boxes. But there is a very specific legal mechanism that allows them to function this way. Historically, the Income Tax Department and Indian courts have classified the RSS simply as an association of individuals. This diagram illustrates how that classification works in practice. By acting as an association of individuals, the RSS legally bypasses the standard registration checkpoints required for NGOs or trusts, while still securing income tax exemptions. They also rely heavily on historical precedent. In the 1960s, the RSS submitted its written constitution to the Indian government. The government accepted it without forcing them to formally incorporate. For nearly a century, the organization has used this combination of cultural legacy and a narrow tax classification to insulate itself from standard corporate scrutiny. We are left with 2 completely opposing views of the law. Kharges relies strictly on modern statutory compliance, while Bhagwat relies on cultural scale and historical exemption. This administrative inquiry forces a rare direct encounter between a state's regulatory power and the RSS's central organizational structure. The strategy shifts the friction from ideological debates to technical ones, focusing on the specific mechanics of financial and administrative compliance. As the RSS steps into its 2nd century of existence, its biggest existential challenges might not be fought in public squares over cultural ideas, but inside courtrooms over bureaucratic paperwork. Which leaves us with a central question for modern India. Can an organization's physical scale ever truly outgrow its legal footprint?